Alright, so in the last video I picked up a forklift for about 650 bucks in an auction. Here it is, getting set on the trailer, getting ready to come home with me. This thing is heavy, and I mean heavy. It's like probably almost 10,000 pounds, and that battery is a big part of it. So I got it home, pulled the battery out, started salvaging some other parts like the forks off of the unit. Moved the battery into the garage, built a small dolly so I could move the battery around if need be. Slid it into place, kind of out of the way, so we can start working on this thing and see if this battery is going to be any good to keep around for potentially some solar. So let's get started. Alright, let's try to get a voltage reading and see what these batteries are doing as an initial pass here. So got my negative way over here, positive here. Oh. Had 10, I thought, for a second there. 7.4. So that's kind of our baseline reading. So there's 18 individual batteries here, or cells, whatever you want to call them, and they are wired in series. So I believe these are all 2-volt batteries, and when you wire a battery in series, you basically add the voltages from the batteries up. So you'd have 18 times 2, you'd have 36 volts here, you know, if they were all working properly. But let's check. The guy said these were probably low on water, and yeah, you can see that they are definitely, or at least that one's definitely low on water. Water level was below the plates. What I did was I picked up some distilled water while I was out this morning because I was pretty sure that they were going to be low. So I think the first thing I want to do is just add enough distilled water to where I get the water level up over the plates, and then we can go from there. Anytime you're working with batteries, you want to be, you know, a little careful. Rubber gloves are not a bad idea. Just over the plates on that one. You know, I got that one a little full. Let me get some water out of that one. But it took about a gallon for all 18 batteries. I've got very little left in that gallon. Alright, I want to pop some of these. I gotta be careful. So if I touch that steel, it's gonna be an issue. A little corrosion there. Got my ground over here, and my negative. And then let's measure down to the positive on this one. My thought is, you know, I'm trying to measure through all 18 of these, and if there's a dead cell or something, it's not going to give a great reading. So let's see if we just go across these 6 here. So from the negative on this one to the positive in that one, we're only 2.3 volts. So, all right, not great. All right, so I got these caps all off, and what I'm thinking is this is basically 3 12-volt batteries put together, or, you know, 18 2-volt batteries. But if I were to cut this here, these 6 would basically be a 12-volt battery. These 6 in the middle would be a 12-volt battery, and these 6 would be a 12-volt battery. So I've got 3 12-volt batteries here, and I've got a 12-volt charger over there. So if I, you know, cut this lead bridge out here, could I just charge 6 of these as though they were 12 volts? I don't see why I couldn't. So I'm going to try that. I can't use the charger that this came with, the forklift came with, because that is 3-phase. I found out 220 volt 3-phase, which would have been nice if I could use that, but I'm actually selling that separately. I just listed it the other day. So let's try this first and see if that gets us anywhere. Positive down here. Cleaned up a little bit, stuck on there. So it's showing 2.3 volts right now, but 12 volt standard, large for sure, right? Kind of weird. It went way up to like 12 volts and now it's dropping down slowly. Although we are getting some light out of this guy now. It's a little LED that apparently is measuring, let's say, an operating range 4 volts plus or minus 1.5 volts. So what's it measuring between 3 cells, 2 cells, 2 batteries? Let's see. Yeah, guess that's about right. 11.4. Keeps going down, but I mean, I don't know. We got something going on, so that's, I'll take that. Let this set for a while and see what happens. You know, it just occurred to me that I don't know if these caps need to be off when it's charging, or should be off, just to prevent the gases from getting trapped in there. But I'm gonna pop them off just to be safe. It won't hurt anything to charge with the caps off for sure. I think they're probably, they look to me like they're vented anyway. They've got a little hole there, and then they've got that hole right there. You know, you really want to be careful. Batteries create hydrogen gas when they charge, and that's explosive, so always wear your safety glasses, wear a long sleeve shirt. You know, gloves are a good idea too. But this battery charger is flashing bad battery, and I don't know, sometimes that just means that the connection kind of went bad. I'm not going to wiggle these because if you create a spark, it could potentially cause an explosion hazard. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but from now on I'm going to unplug this before I move any of these clamps around. So I've now charged this bank of 6, should equal about 12 volts. This bank of 6, which should hopefully be up somewhere around 12 volts. And now I want to do the third and final bank of 6 here. I'm just going to remove these caps for charging purposes. Standard battery. But let's test these 2 banks and see what we're getting now after having them charged for a little bit. At least this bank did. I don't know about this bank of 6 that I let charge while I was at work. Like I said, if one of the clamps came loose or whatever, that may have not taken a charge. But one in here, one on here. 11.52 volts. That's really not bad. Let's check. So on that individual cell, can you guys see that? So these should really equalize. 1.92, 1.92, 1.9, almost 1.92. So pretty much we got 1.9, 1.9, 1.9, 1.9, 1.9, 1.9. across 6 batteries, and that should give us our 1152. Yeah, pretty darn close. So that makes sense. So these are taking a charge. You know, that doesn't tell me a ton about how good the battery still is, because, you know, these might be rated for X amount of amp hours and they might only be good for 50% of that nowadays. So let's check this bank up here. I'll check. Actually, these ones might be a little better. .94 that those are coming out to. So now I'll go across all. This back bank is charging up now. I want to try something though. I want to try and do the engine start, because that should be quite a bit more amps, charging amps, than what we're doing with the basically the large battery. I mean, these 100 amp charger would be probably ideal for this. I don't know exactly what this one's rated for. Should tell me. .30 amps, but that's probably for 30 amps intermittent. I'm gonna try this though. The old engine start. That should be quite a bit. I want to see if I can get these bubbling a little bit. The other thing I want you guys to see is all of these water levels came up quite a bit, quite significantly. So that's the reason you never want to top them off prior to charging. You want the water level above the plates, and the plates are those red things you can see in there, but you never want it any higher than that prior to charging, just because they will probably will come over, and then you're gonna have battery acid all over your garage, or whatever the case may be. All right, so this charger's, I guess, quit charging here. I've had it on the fast charge or the engine start mode here, so let's check it. It's only been an hour, so I'm not exactly sure what to expect here. It's 8.9 volts. It's better than it was, but still far cry from 12 volts. I'd like to get these, I'm gonna turn it back on here. I'd like to get these kind of heating up and bubbling a little bit. That's how you know it's really charging good, but I'm gonna put it back on the engine start mode, and we'll come back out in a little while. And I did start taking down some notes here as to what everything's reading. I should put the date on here. 1/2/24. All right, so I had that on a standard charge, this last bank here, overnight, and I came out and I measured 11.5 across all 6, or 1.9-ish across each battery, or each cell, I should say. So now I just left the clamps right on there, and now I went to the engine start. So basically I just had it on a large battery, which is like a slow, for this it's almost going to be like a trickle charge because it's such a big battery, I would think. So now I've got it on engine start, and I'm hoping that'll maybe get these, you know, get some gases coming out of these batteries and stuff like that. We'll see. But they definitely came up on water, just like the other ones did. They're right up at a reasonable level now. Probably could add a little bit more, actually. So I'll mark that on my sheet here, and then we'll see what it is after after this shuts off with the engine start function. All right, just took our third and final bank here, 12 volt bank off the charger. And we're just shy of 12 volts again, 11.63. So, you know, at least this tells me I don't think there's any bad cells. There's no dead cells in any of these, which is a big surprise actually for how long this battery's been sitting. I think around 4 years, they said, the guys I got the fork truck off of. And it is horrible out. It's supposed to rain for like the next 3 days, and it's already, creeks and stuff are already getting high, but I don't think it's supposed to rain as hard as it did today, so we might be all right. But yep,
You're all set.
thank you. I don't know if it's gonna pick it. That's a powerful magnet, but maybe he'll pick the boom. Oh yeah. Now it's got it. Oh man. Woo. Thank you. All right guys, so you can see we got just shy of $400 for long steel, and that's at a cheap price. That was at 5.5 cents, 6.5 cents, sorry, a pound. But I wanted to get it cleaned up before spring and everything, and make this place look a little bit nicer. So we got 400 bucks. All right guys, so here's where I'm kind of at with these batteries. Or this battery, whatever you want to say. So like I showed you guys, 36 volt battery, chopped it into 3 12 volt batteries. Tried charging each of the 3 12 volt batteries with my normal car 12 volt battery charger. Got to about 11.7 volts across each of the 3 12 volt banks. Then I tried something a little different. I went and basically did 3 batteries at a time with a 12 volt battery charger. So I was basically charging a 6 volt battery with a 12 volt battery charger to try and kind of boil the batteries a little bit and desulfate these plates. And what I mean by desulfate, or you know, get the corrosion off, the sulfation off the plates, is when a battery, a lead acid battery, sits for an extended period of time like this one did, the battery sulfates, the plates sulfate, and it's basically like they're corroding, they're breaking down. Their ability to hold charge is decreased, diminished, damaged, whatever you want to say. So I did a little research. Some people were saying, you know, if you try to boil the batteries, you can sometimes get some of that sulfation or sulfated battery life back, but it hasn't seemed to help that much. So at this point, I actually tried it for a little bit across just two batteries. So like I was charging a 4-volt cell with a 12-volt battery charger, which probably is not the most safest thing, and I don't recommend that, but I just wanted to see if I could get some bubbles going in that battery acid or the water, and which would tell me that potentially I was breaking down some of that sulfated plate. But it really didn't work. The battery charger kept kicking off because it could tell that it was not a 12-volt battery and that there was an issue, and it just didn't work like that. So I'm kind of at a crossroads here. I'm asking you guys for your thoughts. What would you guys do? I could do an amp hour test on the battery as is, and the way I would do that is I would put a 12-volt inverter across one of the 12-volt banks at a time and hook a load to that, and then I'd time how long it takes for the battery to discharge. Now, normally you would discharge the battery down to around 12.2 or 12 volts or something, but the battery's already below 12 volts. It's 11.7. So I'm just wondering if that's even worth it, if I should try some other method of trying to bring the battery back to life, or if I should just take it to the scrapyard, call this one a loss, and potentially get a better battery out of a different fork truck, or just go with some lithium iron phosphate batteries and go the modern solar route if I'm going to do that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Some of you guys might have some tricks for these lead acid batteries, or maybe you just say it's scrap at this point, which really wouldn't hurt my feelings that bad. Like I said, we made out fine on the forklift, just with the forks. So maybe a quick end of the road on this video series. Thanks for watching. Leave me a comment, give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.